Sit upright, close your eyes, and sit with your right hand in your left palm, both resting in your lap. Take a couple of deep breaths. And those of you who are new, remember that when I say a quick rechak, I'll say rechak. If it has to be a slow rechak, I'll say rechak, which is exhale. And if I say purak, it means slow, deep inhale. And if I say half purak, it's just a half purak. Today we'll just be doing a quick rechak, a deep purak with friction in the throat, and then we'll start chanting Om. So let's get ready. Close your eyes, sit upright. Rechak, purak with friction in the throat. Hands in Namaste, and I'll say the prayer. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Rub your palms together, spread the energy over your face, and now I'm going to just introduce and welcome our speaker, Suresh Shukla. Suresh Bhai is a pharmacist in his professional life, and he's a certified diabetes educator. He's not only counseled many diabetics, but he has also presented many seminars about managing and preventing diabetes. So today we thought we'd invite him, and we are really grateful that he agreed to come. Thank you, Suresh Bhai. He and his wife arrived in Canada in 1996, and they were the founders of Ambika Yoga Toronto. They trained in Ambika Yoga Kutir in Thane, India, and decided to start here because the Guruji asked them to spread the word of yoga and the benefits of yoga to as many people as possible. And under their leadership, very capable leadership, we've continued with Ambika Toronto Yoga for the past 25. In fact, this year we are celebrating the 25th year, and thousands of Torontonians have gone through our courses. We run 3 courses a year of 4 months each. And because they're completely free, all we expect the people to do is attend regularly and practice regularly. So we've been doing that for the past 25 years, and it was Suresh and his wife Sarojini who started Ambika Yoga Toronto, and they are still our revered leaders here. So welcome, Suresh Bhai, and
Thank you.
Kunal is going to spotlight you, and you can start the presentation. He will share the screen as well.
So good morning, everybody. So as always, before we start anything, we remember Guruji. And since this presentation is on behalf of Ambika Yoga Kutir, we also bow down to Guruji. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. and we'll start our next session. Next slide, please. And complete in the presentation, Kunal Bhai will lead as far as the slides are concerned. So you can say he is my Sarthi now today, and then we'll make this presentation successful. So today's topic is Kunal Bhai. Next slide. So today's topic is prevention and management of type 2 diabetes in adults. And this is we have written this March 2021 because we had similar session when we completed our 20 years in Ambika Yoga Kutir in Toronto. At that time also we had series of various presentations. So and at that time also we presented this one. Now, since 5 years, there are a lot of progress made in terms of medication, and people from heaps and bounds, they are increasing people with diabetics. So we thought that it is worthwhile to again review and see how best we can address this pandemic kind of point. Pandemic in the sense that right now diabetes is a very much prevalent entire everywhere, and that's why we want to discuss about it. So now next slide please, Kunal bhai. So when we say diabetes is what is the meaning of diabetes? So that,
sorry, I'm having some trouble. We're going to try to.
Yeah, no problem. So when we say diabetes, we have only one thing in the mind. So in a layman terms, what is diabetes? If I have to describe, then that means that if we have increased amount of glucose in our blood, when our blood sugar or blood glucose is increased, when the blood sugar and glucose increases in the blood, that is the condition that we call it as diabetes. So now, so your blood sugar is high. You say, oh, I have high blood sugar. That means, and we say, oh, that means you have diabetes. So that's why diabetes, and what we discuss here is type 2 diabetes. We do not discuss about type 1 diabetes. Number one is because type 2 diabetes, it is like 9 out of 10 people will have diabetes type 2, and only a few will have other kinds of diabetes. That's why we are discussing is diabetes type 2, where there's increase in blood sugar. That's the first symptoms, and that's how we recognize it. Now, in order to find out more about diabetes, there is a video clip that will show us what is the relationship between the blood glucose, insulin, and our body, and how it works. The small video clip will tell us. So let us run this video clip, Kunal bhai. The voice is not there. Kunal bhai, voice is not coming.
We can hear it, Suresh, but I'm assuming the others can as well.
No, I cannot hear it.
Can some of the others? Sandhya, can you hear it?
We can't hear Kunal.
Can you hear the sound of the video?
No.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Maybe increase it, the volume.
Volume is as high as it can be.
I see.
I can hear it, but it looks like nobody else can.
Yes.
Kunalji, there is a button at the bottom of the screen which says share sound and optimize to the screen when you play it.
So how do I get to that now? I'm in the screen mode, a share screen mode. Do I get out of sharing?
Yeah, you have to get out of sharing, and before sharing.
Okay, now I'm out of sharing.
When you choose to share the screen.
Yeah,
At the bottom, it says share sound.
I don't have,
So,
I don't seem to have that, Mahesh.
Oh, okay.
so if you give me the authority to share, let me try from here.
Yeah, you have it, Sureshji. You have your.
Okay, so let me try to do that.
Do this arrow, please.
Chitraji, can you send me the presentation?
Yeah, Kunal will send it to you.
Sureshji, I suggest you continue, and then I will figure it out once I receive the presentation.
Okay. Okay, so let me continue this. We can do it without video, that's fine.
So let me get back to the.
Let's get going, yeah.
Share sound there. I saw it.
Oh, sorry, just 1 second.
1 second. When you go there, share sound. Here.
Okay, Mahesh, we found the share sound, so it should work now.
Good, good.
We'll try it, yeah. Go back a bit. Go back a bit here.
We can't hear still.
No, now we should be able to.
Understanding type 2
Yes.
diabetes.
Thank you.
Type 2 diabetes is a metabolic disorder that causes sugar in the form of glucose to accumulate in the blood rather than being used as fuel by the cells in our body. When we eat, food is broken down by our digestive system into nutrient molecules that are then absorbed through our digestive tract for use by the body. Foods containing carbohydrates or various sugars are broken down into glucose. Glucose is an important source of fuel for many organs in our body. However, to be able to use the glucose for fuel, the glucose molecule must first enter into the cell. The pancreas produces a hormone called insulin, a chemical messenger essential for the entry of glucose into cells. As the blood glucose levels rise after a meal, insulin is released into the bloodstream and sets processes in motion to trigger the removal of glucose from the blood to enter into the cells. In type 2 diabetes, the cells become resistant to insulin and ignore its message to absorb glucose. This is known as insulin resistance. In addition, in type 2 diabetes, the pancreas is unable to produce the greater amounts of insulin needed to trigger these resistant cells to take in glucose from the bloodstream. The most notable symptom of diabetes is frequent urination and excessive thirst. Other symptoms include weakness, drowsiness, and blurred vision. These are caused by chemical imbalances in the blood related to high levels of blood glucose. About 1 in 4 people with type 2 diabetes are unaware that they have the disease. It is important to catch diabetes early. Over time, high blood glucose damages the blood vessels, which can damage the organs that these vessels supply, leading to a variety of health complications. Damage to the small or micro blood vessels can cause vision problems, including loss of sight, nerve damage, and kidney disease. Damage to larger or macro blood vessels can lead to cardiovascular complications such as heart disease, stroke, and poor blood circulation. Overweight and inactivity are major causes of diabetes. A family history of diabetes significantly increases your risk of developing the disease. Certain ethnic populations are also at increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Finally, some medications may increase your diabetes risk, specifically corticosteroids, thiazide diuretics, drugs used to treat certain mental illnesses, and some antiretrovirals used to treat HIV infection. In summary, type 2 diabetes is a metabolic disorder. It causes sugar, in the form of glucose, to accumulate in the blood rather than being used as fuel for the cells in our body. If not diagnosed and treated in a timely manner, type 2 diabetes can lead to many health complications.
Okay. Next slide, please. Kunal bhai. Okay, so in a nutshell, if we want to discuss about what happened in the video clip, insulin is the hero and villain of the game. It is hero when the right amount of insulin at right time it is secreted, and it really helps absorb glucose into the cells. We are perfectly all right. But because of some of the environmental factor and some of the factors that are not our control, some of them are in our control, it so happens that it doesn't happen the ideal way. Due to whatever lifestyle and whatever things when we are doing, so when we eat food, let us see, when we eat food, on response to food that we eat, insulin will be secreted. That insulin will be variable insulin. It changes probably. Suppose we are having 2 units or 4 units insulin secreted in response to the food that you eat. Then that insulin really helps in opening the lock so that the glucose can penetrate into the cell and we get the energy out of it because it's getting converted into energy. Now, if insulin has to be secreted more than once, so suppose 4, 5, 6 times because of various scenario, then 6 times insulin will secrete again. And then when more insulin is there, cell is not able to really really bear so much of insulin, with the result that it changes its structure. When it changes its structure, then even though insulin is there, the glucose is not going inside the blood cells. That glucose remains into blood sugar and we call it diabetes. So, and this is also called insulin resistance. So the first thing is defective insulin action. That means when there is a sufficient secretion of insulin, but it is not taken up by the cells due to insulin resistance. So insulin resistance develops, and we'll discuss how and why. The second thing is that when so much of insulin resistance is there and pancreas has to pump in so much insulin every time, then the cells are getting weaker and weaker. We do not get that much good quality of insulin. We do not get that much amount of good insulin. And with the result, the problem compounded, and now we do not have enough insulin secreted or squeezed out from the pancreas. That is another scenario. So these 2 scenarios lead to diabetes, but the picture is not as blurred or as it was said in the video, because although it says it is reversible, with so many tools that we are going to learn about this, it is going to be reversible, it is going to be manageable, and we'll see how it is working. So let's have next slide, which will tell us the various statistics, just to give you it is not to alarm, but just to make sure that we'll know how diabetes is spreading right now. So it says 1 out of 2 adults will have diabetes right now. As we are talking, 1 out of 2 would be definitely have tendency to have diabetes or will have diabetes. And 1 out of 3 kids born in 2000 are supposed to have so they will convert, they will, as they grow older, they will get this pre-diabetics or diabetics, as the statistic says. This is the statistic from America. In Canada, it is not too far. Maybe if it is 1 and 2 here, it will be 1 into 3, or kids will be 1 into 4. But as long as our lifestyle remains the same as it is, or our food habit remains as it is, all this criteria, then definitely we are going to land ourselves into the problem. Close to 3 million Canadians are diabetic, or and its prevalence is 8.3. 200,000 new cases yearly. They are always there. 9 out of 10 diabetes people will have type 2 diabetes, not diabetes type 1. And then and the problem is, we are not unaware that we are going to have diabetes, we are going to have diabetes, or we are having insulin resistance. We are not aware until something comes up, and either we go to the clinic, we go to the eye specialist, and when eye specialist check the eyes, we come to know, oh, he says you might be having diabetes, get it checked, or something happens, and then only when we go for checking with the in doctor's office, like every year or 2 year, and then they will say, okay, you are having insulin resistance, you are going to have diabetes. So that's the only time we come to know that we have diabetes. Otherwise, it is a very, very silent disease. So this is the reason we want to find out all these aspects of this one. So the next slide, please. Now, this slide will show us, this is my personal experience I am trying to show you. It was years ago, maybe 2010 or 2000, something like. I had chance to go to, to go to Hong Kong for my family emergency. It was not pleasant one, but I had to go. So I had a plane to catch up from Chicago airport. So 4 or 5 hours were then. I was just looking around and seeing what is happening. And what I marked is that out of 10 people that were passing by, they were passing by in a hurry. 4 of them, like it was approximately, they were obese people. Another 5 were like overweight people. Medium to slim, you can find only 1 or 2 people. So I gathered that maybe people here, there is some definitely problem with the people and the lifestyle that we are leading. Opposed to that, when I reached Hong Kong International Airport, and when I was waiting for my ride, and again, curiously, I found what is the statistics here, and I found that I could not get any obese person. 1 or 2 overweight persons I could find. Medium to slim, there are like 6 to 7, 8 people like that. When in Chicago airport, people were carrying big coffee jars or parcel package of food. I couldn't find many people carrying this thing. Maybe some of them were having small cups or here and there, but not very much. And then when I came back to Canada, and I was trying to again find out what is happening in Canada then, and I found that I still find here people from China, people from Japan also, but they are not as, the statistic is not as good as it was in Hong Kong. That means those people, when they come here, they adopt Canadian lifestyle, they have our North American lifestyle, and North American style is like having fast food, more portion size of coffee and ice cream, all those stuff. And all this leads to the problem. And then India is not lagging behind, because every couple of years when we had to go to India, and we found that is right from start, we go to the airport and we feel the people with big bellies and fat and overweight people. So everywhere, it is not one country, everywhere now this thing is growing. So obesity, overweight is one of the factor, already one of the factor for having diabetes. Next slide, please, Kunal bhai. So this slide is slightly smaller, but you can see that this is called metabolic syndrome. So metabolic syndrome is like a very technical name. But if you have more than 3 or 4 characteristic of this one, more than 2 or 3, so 2 or 3, then you are in the range of metabolic syndrome. So what is this? So suppose our stomach area, if it is bigger, our waist size, when we have to measure, we can put the tape on the measure. We don't need anything. We can put on the navel, and we can find out what size is there. For Americans, if it is like 140 centimeter and 88 centimeter for women, but it is like region wise and country wise it differs. So we have to find out if we are not fitting into that one, then definitely our waistline is more, and where waistline is more, it is inversely proportional to lifeline as we know it. So that is one of the factor. Second factor, if I have like my fasting glucose is more, or my HbA1c is more than required, my blood pressure is more than normal. If normal blood pressure is 80, 120, let's say 85, 130 for not to have diabetes. If it is more than that, then that is one of the factors. If my good cholesterol, it should be at least more than 1.2 in women and more than 1 at least in the men. Then if that is lower, then that is also one of the risk factors. So there are 4 or 5 risk factors that is mentioned. If any 2 or 3 are coming together, that means we have got metabolic syndrome. That means we are prone to get overweight. We are prone to get obese also, and we are more to get pre-diabetic, or we can get diabetic. So this metabolic syndrome. So what we are trying to learn today, we want to convert this metabolic syndrome to metabolic nutrition, and finally we have to go to metabolic flexibility as we tend to get our last slide. So next slide, please, Kunal bhai. So now some of the risk factors that we cannot change, like age limit. It is more than 40, then there is another becomes a risk factor. If we have got first degree relative type 2 diabetes, then definitely we can get it. Like member of high risk population like Aboriginal, African, and Hispanics, and those and Indians also, Asians, they are likely to get diabetes more than the other ones. And then there is history of pre-diabetic, history of gastral diabetes, or other symptoms. Then these are risk factors. Some of them we can change, but we want to change whichever we can change. So next slide is. So it says that weight reduction is the first part. So 80 to 90% diabetics are overweight, as we have seen, and weight loss of at least 5 to 10% can improve our insulin sensitivity. It can also control our blood sugar positively, blood pressure positively, and cholesterol positively. That is the good news, and we'll see how we can do it. The next slide, please. Now, these are some of the numbers that we are going to look. Not too much, I'm not in too much number, but this says that when we can have pre-diabetes, or people would say that you are likely on the doorstep of diabetics. If our fasting sugar in the morning, it is 6.1 to 6.9, then definitely we are in the range of pre-diabetic. Now, surprisingly, what happens is in North America and everywhere, and when we ask patient, when you are checking your sugar, they say, oh, okay, I'm checking in the morning and it's fine. Okay, but we do not know what is happening 1.5 hours after we eat our food. And that's why the second one is very important. 2 hours after, or 1.5 hours after our meals, when we check, like 1.5 hours is enough time, or 2 hours is enough time for the sugar to get digested in our stomach. Whatever remains after that, that remains into the blood sugar, and we want to know how much is that one. That part is very important, and that decides what will be our A1C. So that part is also very important. It says 7.8 to 11, but then we want to control there. So that is all 7.8. Anything above 7, it will be like a pre-diabetic. Even A1C is 6 to 6.4. It is the number, as a number it says. Anything in between 6.0 to 6.4, that is a pre-diabetic. So these are the numbers. Then we want to see what diabetes, how diabetes is diagnosed. Next slide, please. The next slide will tell us that if anytime our fasting glucose is more than 7, or A1C is more than 6.5, then definitely we are going towards from the pre-diabetic to the diabetes side. And our random sugar, anytime it is more than 10, 11, when it is touching, that means it is time that we are going to pronounce it as diabetes. The next slide, please. And this will be the last one, I guess. Next one for the numbers. Now, so in order to get the right amount of A1C, what control we need? So if our fasting glucose remains in the range of 4 to 6, 6.5, not even 7, or 2 hours after postprandial, that will remain even 5 to 10, but I will say 5.8. So 5 to 8. So when remain 5 to 8, this is the range we are looking for in order to get less than 7 our things. And one more slide about in this one, and that will tell us if we have what kind of next slide, please. This will tell us what if we have a range of 6 to 6.5, I've got 25 to 50% chances of having diabetes in next 5 years. If 5.5 to 6 range I am here, I'm having 9 to 25%. But if I have 5 to 5.5, then I have 5.9, or almost no chance of that. This ratio definitely we can change, and we have people sitting here right now who have changed this ratio, but we'll talk about this later. So the next slide, please. So now enough of discussion about this. We want to find out now what is the how we can reduce the risk of, and this is the three things that are there. These factors are important. One is diet, another is exercise, and third is lifestyle changes. Through all this, through lifestyle changes, we can have diet and exercise. So we want to work on these three factors, and of course yoga. By this way, how we can do it. So let us see what kind of diets they are there right now. There are lots of diet presently in the market, and you and me, we know more about it. I know almost all about this because I had gone through all this. I was also weighing like Kunal Bhai has seen, I was 25 kg more than what I am right now. So I have made all this thing, and finally I found which diet is suitable to us. So this diet is DASH diet. We know that is for the blood pressure control, to stop hypertension. Another is Mediterranean kind of diet, which always gets fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, nuts, seeds. It is full of that. Third one is Atkin. What diet was very famous diet. It was having more protein, lower carbohydrate and moderate fat, like that. Another was Weight Watchers diet, because they will give you the list what to watch the diet, and then you have to eat that much portion of that one. The Weight Watcher theory is good, but it is exciting. But at the same time, if it works, good. If it doesn't work, then we come back to square. I had my one technician staff who was on Weight Watchers, and she was so happy. Oh, I started Weight Watcher, and I lost this many pounds. This. One day she came and said, "Oh, I'm fed up with this one. Today I went and I went to the hotel. I had so much of pizza, and I'm so happy about it." So next 1 month she gained more weight than what she had originally. So this doesn't remain permanently. So this is our problem. There are general motor diets. It makes you really pathetic when you go to general motor diets. And there is fruit fasting and juice fasting. These are the other things. So all kinds of things are there. But now we have to select the criteria, which one we have to select. So let us see in the next slide. Now we have to find out parameters which will suit us more. We want to do diet plan which will help us reduction in our weight, which can reduce our waist size. Sometimes our weight gets reduced from the other side, from the cheeks. Our cheeks are down, but our stomach remain the same. We have big apple shape, we come back to smaller apple shape, but apple remains apple only. That doesn't go out, or that's our pear shape remains pear only. So we want to work on that one. So our thing is the reduction should be from the waist circumferences. It should be able to address our A1C if we have diabetes or we are prone to diabetes, and our fasting glucose should come down. If any parameters which meets this one, then that is ideal. So this led to one thing that we are going to discuss, and that is called intermittent fasting. This is hormonal approach to diet. And what is this intermittent fasting? That means we have been eating food, and it will be interesting to find out how we go on to this intermittent fasting. It is not regular fasting. It doesn't tell you how much calorie to take, how much calorie to take. It is not, you are not always with a calculator or this much calorie, I have to eat this much calorie. I was doing that for 6 to 8 months, and I was measuring how much calorie I input and output. But finally you get fed up of this one. But this is a hormonal approach, so it is typically different kind of thing. So we have to find out what is the theory behind this intermittent fasting. It is very interesting. Now you be with me on this one. Now insulin, let us find out what are the characteristics of insulin and how it works here. Raised insulin, when insulin level increases in the blood, then it causes obesity. Like because insulin hormone, in the presence of insulin, our blood glucose also is getting converted. Excess blood glucose is getting converted into fat cells, fatty acid. And that's the reason it increases the obesity. Second one, insulin secretes two ways. One is a baseline insulin. Everybody will have at least 18 to 32 units of insulin in the body secret. That takes care of any emergencies, and that has to be there. But the third one is, the other one is in response to eating food items when we eat, and that will be varying. In response to when we eat the food, it will be like 4 units. For some, it will be 4 units. For some, it will be 6 units. For some, it will be 2 units. It varies. The other important aspect here is that you eat less or you eat more. The insulin secreted will be the same. We can say, oh, I want to go diet. I want to eat one bread rather than 3 breads. So you reduce the bread. But then with that one bread also, amount of insulin that is going to be secreted is going to be the same. There will not be any change in that one. So that is another factor that we have to. So we cannot say that I'm going to diet, I'm going to eat less, but more times. Okay. And then another aspect is that, one second, the older slide, please. The one more aspect there is that your glucose is secreted for 55 minutes. It will be secreted. So once you are starting your food, for 55 minutes, your insulin will secrete. After 55, that means if you are eating the food and your food, the previous one, Kunal bhai, when we are eating the food and when we are eating food, sorry, in response to food, when the insulin is secreting, that if we take more than 55 minutes in eating and completing our food, what will happen? That after 55 minutes, another unit will be secreted, another 55, another units will be secreted. So same amount, it will be more. So if we want to complete our meal, we want to complete in that 55 minutes designated time only. Okay. So now when we talk of this, now let us see what does insulin do in the body. So insulin conserves the energy. It's a conserving energy. So when we have glucose in our blood, sugar in the blood, sugar is breaking down into glucose. The protein is breaking down into amino acid. Fat is breaking down into fatty acid. So it's all storage capability it is taken by the insulin. So it is, sorry, not breaking down, it's getting stored into this one. Okay. So that one is, once you eat, insulin is secreted, that we know. Once you eat, insulin is getting secreted. It facilitates entry of glucose into the cells. That's how we have seen how it works. That converts glucose into glycogen. That's for the future is. So it is glucose into glycogen in the liver, it will be there, and in the muscle also it will be there. Around 100 units will be stored in the liver and 400 units will be stored in the muscle. And then if still some glucose is remaining, then it is getting converted to fatty acid. So these are the criteria and characteristics of insulin. Now, next slide will show us how many times we eat our food. Okay, so this is like whenever in the day when we want to do how many times we eat our food. In the morning, when we eat our food, for snacks, if we want to have a cup of tea. So when we eat food, it will be, we are going to have tea, and we Indians want to have tea with milk and sugar. So morning tea, that's one time we want to have food. Then sometimes if we go out, then we want to get some bagel, and along with bagel, we want to get coffee, and we used to go to work when COVID was not there. That life. If we are sitting here, then we feel like I want to eat something. Online also, when we are working, we'll go down, we'll grab something, take out from that, and we'll have that. So that becomes our second meal. After a couple of hours, then if we are in the office, we'll have to have some Coke or something, to just because our mind is not working, we want to let it work. So we'll have that one. We'll have a slice of sandwich at lunchtime. Very healthy sandwich, right? Yeah, but sandwich is bread, so that again is the problem. Then at 3 o'clock again we are yawning. We want to continue our work, so we'll have more tea there. And then when come home we are tired, but our food is not ready, so we want to eat something. We'll have that time we are eating, and then we'll have our food, original food there. So we'll eat our food. After that, we'll have something to eat as a sweet, because we had some sweet stored and in our mind. It is always noted that in some corner in the refrigerator, sweet is lying there, and our sweet tooth said, "Oh, I want to eat something. Before I go to bed, I want to eat some sweet." So we can have that also. So in the process, we are eating 7 to 8 times. So 7 to 8 times, and snacking we don't consider as eating, but snacking, anything we take the food, and that is part of eating, and that's what creates problem. We have been told by national uh, our Health Canada and everything, that we have to eat small meals more times, but it doesn't agree with our system, because more time you eat, that means more time our body secretes insulin. So basically, we have to eat twice daily, because if we eat 2 times, our yoga also says that if you eat 1 time, then we are yogi. If we eat 2 times, then we are bhogi, but 2 times, but still we can manage well. But when we eat more than 2 times and 3 times, then we are rogi. All other cultures, other religions also say that we should be eating 1 or 2 times a day. Bauddhic culture, Buddha Bhagwan, he used to say his disciple eat only once. But we are eating 2, 3 more times, and that's what is killing us. When we are eating more, what happens? What happens when the excess insulin is there? When you say hyperinsulinemia, it increases our hunger, because insulin is our hunger creating hormones. It always increases hunger, and so cycle goes on. Sugar is addiction. When we take sugar, it is really addiction, because sugar gets digested in 2 to 3, 4 hours, and again we feel like eating something. So people who have got sweet tooth, that never ends. It satisfies it satisfies the taste, but it doesn't satisfy the hunger. So it goes on coming. That's the problem. And then with the result that the receptors, as we have seen, of the cell changes their structure, and then they are no more absorbing glucose, because glucose is not available. Their structure is changed, so we are getting insulin resistance, and then there will be more excess of sugar is there, excess of glucose in presence of insulin will get converted into fats, and those are adipose tissue. Those fats will be one that is lying in our stomach area, front area, and those adipose tissue which are very, very difficult to get rid of. So this was happening, and it gives rise to obesity. All this thing is happening because we are eating 6 to 7 times. So we want to eat 2 or 3 times. So let's see how best we can do it, what we have to do in this. So this is the theory behind the things. Identify 2 times. Now let us see how to work practically. Identify 2 times when you have to eat your food. Say morning, if you are getting hungry at 10 o'clock, so 10 o'clock, it is not like having problem of having breakfast, lunch and dinner. You have to have 2 meals. 1 meal in the mornings and 1 meal in the afternoon. If you are hungry and if you are ready, you eat at 10 o'clock. If you are not ready and if you want to eat 1 o'clock, you can eat 1 o'clock, but and then you have to have 8 hours of gap. So another food, when you are completing, 8 hours should be over. So first 8 hours you are going to have your two meals, and then another 16 hours you are not going to have anything. So that 16 hours will be fasting, and that is called intermittent fasting. So you have to find out which is suitable for you, and you have to find out which slot is suitable to you. But purpose will be 8 hours. Gradually you can go, and we'll see the second part will tell us the mechanics, how best we can accompany with. But this is what you have to do. Now, finish your meal in 55 minutes. You can say that, oh, I can finish it in half an hour, but when I cook, I want to really go to microwave. I can go to microwave, come back, eat this. I hardly, and at that time I have to rush that, oh, I will complete 55 minutes. But when with the practice is there, you will be able to do it in 55 minutes. It doesn't mean that you go on eating for 55 minutes, but within 55 minutes, reasonably, your food should be over. There will not be anything by mouth. So from in between this, you will not open your mouth. Eat nothing in between. That means open your mouth only for water and talking. That's what Mr. Dr. Jiskar, who is the pioneer of intermittent food in India, he was saying, open your mouth only twice. Only twice, if not even food, just for talking or drinking water, because that will help. So And then you can reduce, stop sugar, sweet in the meals, and increase the protein. That also we'll see how. So next slide, please. So when we do this, what can we consume? But because sometimes we want to have leeway, what we can consume. Initially, we won't be able to stay for 8 hours without eating because we were eating 4 or 5 times. We want to have some criteria, some leeway how we can do it. And this is what any water you can eat anytime. Water you can drink anytime. Buttermilk, homemade chas, we can say, homemade. 2 tablespoonful of yogurt you can take. Put 1 glass of water into that, just churn it and drink it. Do not eat any spices also. Just drink it, and that will be your buttermilk. So that if you have that much of buttermilk, it will not give rise to your insulin. Second one is green tea, black tea. You can always have green tea, black tea, doesn't matter, no problem. Black coffee, you want to have black coffee also, doesn't matter. But it should not have any sugar. Artificial sugar is worse than the regular sugar. But you try to, the problem is, that problem we'll see how we can end out, but you try to get it without artificial sweetener or sugar, and it will take you 7 to 8 days to come back. Or if you want to add milk, add 25% of milk. Little milk, just egg whitener, or maybe you can eat some table cream. You can put 1 or 2 spoonful, and that will be okay. And that will not increase it. Natural coconut water will not increase it, but not pulp. If you get pulp, then keep it inside the pulp and just drink the water. Coconut water that is available in the market, it is not as good because it does have sugar, but it has low quantity of sugar. So they are allowed to say that there is no additional sugar, but there is some additional sugar in that one. And one medium-sized tomato also can serve the purpose. So these are some of the things you can eat just for a few days. But for the best results, do not dig anything in bed. If you want really best result, do not do that. Now, what happens when we do all this? What happens when insulin level goes down? During the fasting of 16 hours, first what happens, digestion takes place in first 4 hours. The food is digested. And then whatever glucose is generated, the first glucose will be converted. It will go into the bank for future use. And that will be like another saving bank account or something that is, we can take out, but in small amount. So that is like it is stored in liver as a glycogen. Whenever we do exercise, that glycogen part comes out. Second will be like fixed deposit. It's not a bank. It's a muscle. One which goes in the muscle doesn't come immediately out of the muscle. Otherwise, we would become weak. But that's what happens. Second, another in 4 hours, it goes into the muscle. So 8 hours, all this happens. Then next, what happens? Glycogen from the liver goes down and into broken. Yeah. So and then last 4 hours, or fat, it is important. Fat from the adipose tissue or from stomach part, that gets used up as energy. That's why our body fat or fat in the stomach area will get reduced because of doing this. And we'll discuss how. So this is what happens. That's what makes this food very, very helpful. Now I'm asking a hypothetical scenario I'm creating, and I'm asking myself how this is going to work. So one question is how will you survive having tea without sugar? It will take you 7 to 8 days to do with that one. But if you add like a cream kind of milk into that one, it will not be as bitter as you feel, and you will be able to get the taste within 7 to 8 days. Anything, if we want to change, it takes time, but it will be 7 to 8 days. Second question, will I get weakness or get low blood sugar? Why would you get low blood sugar? Because when this is the time when your glucose in the system get reduced, you are going to get one from the liver. So that will not make you think. We'll come to the case when for the diabetic patient what to do. Then how can I stop breakfast? So we say you are not stopping breakfast. You are getting meals at the time of breakfast. So that way it will help you that way. Second important, will I lose my muscle? Nothing from the muscle comes in. The glucose that has gone in the muscles, that doesn't come out as fast. After all the fats gets reduced, then muscle out comes out. So that doesn't make us weak. And what happens if I am taking my medication? So that's an important question. If you are taking thyroid medication that you have to take early in the morning, go ahead and take it. There is no problem. Other medication which normally we take twice daily, take with your morning meals and take your afternoon meals. That way it will help you, right? If you are on metformin, take metformin now when you are eating in the morning or when you are eating in the afternoon. Twice you can, it will help you. For three, so, okay, we'll talk to that later on. A lot of things are there, but we are again going to discuss that further. So that's how you will. So other question, when should I take fruit, dry fruit, milk? So you can start with the dry fruit. In 55 minutes, whatever game you want to play, you can play. You can have first dry fruit, then you can have real little banana, half banana or some, not full banana, half banana or something. You can do that. And then you can eat your regular salad. If you want salad, you can salad it. And the food you can eat. But you have to use 55 minutes. Even if you want to have sweet, if you are not diabetic, and if you want to reduce weight, or even if you are diabetic and you cannot control anything, if you want to eat any sweet, keep it for your lunch session or keep it for your supper session. Eat that time. If you at that time, that it will not create additional insulin when you are going to eat it alone. So that way it will help you. Another question is that I have no time to exercise. What should I do? If you do just this and if you do not do exercise, you will not get complete benefit. You will be able to lose 4 or 5 pounds initially, then your weight will become stationary because you are not doing weight. So this is going hand in hand. When you are doing diet and exercise, then only it will work. So regarding this, before we leave this food part and go to the next one, it says that our Guruji has given a few things that we always remember when he says, "Kam khana, jyada chabana, yahi hai tandurusti ka khazana." That means eat less, chew more, and that is the way. That is the secret of the good health. That's what he said. Another, he says that you eat as much food as your body as you can digest. If you are eating more food and if you have gas problem, that means you have not eaten good well. Or if you are having acidity problem, maybe because of some food quality you have not eaten. So your question will be answered if what did you do so that you don't feel well and you want to avoid that one. And also Guruji says that pot nahi bhari to abhyasa sukha kari. That means if my stomach is not heavy, then I will be able to I will able to really do yoga very nicely. My stomach will go in Agni Saranyan very nicely if I'm not eating too much food at night time, or if I'm keeping some gap between my food and my sleeping, then that will help us. So this was all regarding the first part that we did, the intermittent fasting. Okay, so this is yoga break. Give me 1 minute break, and while you are doing this, you can do little stretching, and I'm coming back. And you also want, if you want to take a biological break, give me 1 second.
Take your own break, or just move your arms around, or just take a little walk around.
Okay. So The first part that we have completed. The entire session basically, I refer to two gentlemen who are responsible for this intermittent fasting movement in India. One is Dr. Jiskar. He's no more with us right now. He died in 2004, but he propagated the intermittent fasting theory in India very nicely. And after his demise, uh, uh, Dr. Jagannath Dikshit is the other one, who is very selflessly doing this movement of intermittent fasting. So all the theories part I have taken from this one, and we have implemented. And when we go to the case studies, we'll discuss more about that part. So now we are going to do the mechanic part of it, how we are going to make this plan successful. And that's why this will help. The second part will help us in this one. So next slide, please. So we did we had the one metabolic syndrome slide we were presenting. So that's the metabolic syndrome is the one. This is the same slide here. I'm putting here metabolic syndrome slide. And because more we are going to do from metabolic syndrome, we want to go to metabolic nutrition, and then it will lead us to metabolic flexibility. So we have to control all this part and how we go about. Next slide, please, Kunal bhai. So, so when we want to address all this aspect. So what is the action plan? So we have been used to eat 6-7 times a day. So now we all of a sudden, if we cannot do twice a day, let us start eating 3 times a day initially. We have a breakfast, we have to have our lunch, and we have to have our dinner. 3 times a meal, no snacking in between. Let us do for 1 week and see how it is working. Slowly, at least 3 times, you say it is working better. So some people get used in 1 week, some people get used to it in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But let us do that way so that then you don't feel as bad. And you have to prepare yourself for intermittent fasting. So what you have to do, you have to add fat to every meal, right? Yeah, fat to every meal. When I say you have to add, that means you have to add fat. What kind of fat you can add, that also will come. But you have to add one fat to every meal. Now, what that fat is, that is not one that we are, when we are in cooking pan, when we are eating our fat oil. I am not talking about that oil. When the plate is there, the food is already served, you put the plate. What you can put is olive oil. Olive oil is the best oil available. Put 1 or 2 tablespoonful or 1 tablespoon of olive oil in our vegetable. But when we are eating that will increase the nutritional value of food that we are eating. That will also keep your some weightage, some solid thing food will come, and so it will not make you as hungry. So, and then you will start losing weight this way in 2 to 3 weeks. So the starting should be slowly like that. The next slide would be. So once you are eat it, do not eat man-made food. What is man-made food? Means some food like margarine, it is a processed food. All the processed oils are not very good because they have got lots of polyunsaturated fatty acids which are wiggling around, and they are really creating problems. So margarine or Crisco, even vegetable oil, canola oil, you'll be surprised what canola oil brings us to, and corn oil, all these oils. Now, olive oil is such that you squeeze and get the oil. Corn, if you cut open, do you get that corn oil to eat? You squeeze it and you will not get that corn oil. Like, and canola oil, basically, canola oil has got so much, they have to do so harsh processing of canola oil that there is some amount of impurity in the form of hexane, that is organic solvent, always remain in canola oil. So if you use more canola oil, it really disturbs the cell constitution and it kills our mitochondria also, and then it gives rise to all our autoimmune disease and all kind of stuff. And the problem with corn oil also similar. So you have to use only some food, some fat that you can eat. What you can eat is natural dairy fat like butter. Eat butter. A moderate amount of butter will definitely help you. paneer in India, we can say paneer, clarified butter, ghee you can use, cheese you can use. So these are the helpful things. We can add this into our diet, and that will again, that will not make you hungry so fast. Then use natural animal fat. Do not take out the skin from the chicken. Do not take out the yolk from the eggs. Just leave it there because it's helpful. Cholesterol we need in the body. We need cholesterol for our all the endocrine hormones and everything. We cannot just play around and reduce the cholesterol. But we want to reduce. The main enemy is not cholesterol. Main enemy is sugar and carbohydrate. That's what we wanted to control. Leave gristle on the steaks. I have never eaten steaks, so I do not know. But yeah, that's how it helps. And if you want to eat pizza, why not to go for gluten-free pizza made up of cauliflower? Cauliflower with little cheese. You won't, once in a while, if you take it, it will not hurt you as much because it has got less calories. Plus, the crust doesn't have wheat flour. So all this thing you can. Now, how much you can eat? The next slide will tell us how much fat you can have. So you can have 1/4 of an avocado. You can have in your meal. That also is like small fat, because we have to quantify how much fat we have to eat. Right? Or you can have 6 big olives. You can have eat on the side on the plate. 2 taps of butter you can have. 1 teaspoonful of clarified, 1.5 teaspoonful of you can have, or 1 tablespoon of olive oil. These are the things you can add in order to make your food all right. The next slide, please. So fat does not make us fat. That's what basically. For years we have been told that if we have a heart problem, we can say no, stop it. The people will go without butter, without ghee, that roti, and then there will be it because make the people also very miserable. Fat doesn't make you fat, but excessive carbohydrate, sugar, that makes you fat. And wheat, of course, it gives wheat belly serum, that makes you fat. So these are the things we have to, especially corn chips. If you are having corn chips or corn things, some of the items are made up of corn you do not know. If you see any in the list when you are going through ingredients, if it says maltodextrin, that means it is corn there. Corn is there. Or fructose corn syrup is very useful. Anywhere in the chips also fructose corn syrup is there. This corn is commodity, is the thing that is like subsidized by the government. It is very cheap to add this, but it doesn't have very good effect on our body. I do not want to take more time this, but those are the things that you can have. Next slide, please. So take out the grains, corn product we discussed. Then we said that, oh, if I'm going to do jaggery instead of sugar, will it be good? Yeah, jaggery is better than sugar, but finally it is all coming down to glucose. So we have to really control there. Or honey also coming down to glucose. So it is, if you eat this, if you want to have it in your meal times only, do not have anything otherwise, then it will help. You cannot say I'm putting honey in my tea. No, but that's again with the glucose, so you cannot do that. So these you have to take away. And the next slide, for which I want to talk about more, but I do not want to talk more because of the time limitation, is the wheat. Wheat is the main culprit, and because the wheat in 1970s, 80s were not as bad, but we are all going for genetically modified wheat. The structure is changed. It is too sweet. Corn is really sweet corn, and it's really a problem. Wheat also is creating problem that contains more gluten, sticks to the system, and when we have gas, then it creates inflammation. We have inflammatory problems all the way. If you have arthritis, then also you can reduce the wheat. It will be problematic. People who reported that when they stopped or reduced the wheat, they had knee problem when sliding up the staircase, and that has gone. So that helps you. That has leads to diabetes and many more ailments. So start mixing. You cannot stop all of a sudden. Lower it down. You can mix with other very healthy flours. Quinoa flour is very healthy flour. Green moong dal flour, very healthy flour to mix with. Or it is called also sattu, black gram flour. That also is very good mixed flour that you can mix. Kuttu flour, black wheat flour, that is very good for diabetes. So we can always mix and make this flour to make the best taste. And you will when you get used to this kind of food, when someday if you want to eat the wheat bread, you will feel, oh, how much sweet it is, how people could eat that much. That's what you will be thinking by yourself. So that's the reason, let us reduce this quantity, and you will have magical result when you stop or reduce your wheat intake. The next slide, please. Now so now as you do 1 week, 2 week, whenever it is permissible, now you can go for alternative day. You can skip breakfast. So it's from 3 times a meal, now go for 2 times a meal. And then if you feel okay, then they go for 2 times for another week or 2 weeks, like that. So then you'll so much get to use that you can even skip 1 meal and go for rotational fasting, just as Chitra is doing. So you can go, one day is a fasting day for us. So that way you can do. But you cannot do fasting. You will be starving, and we do not do fasting is not starving. You have to prepare yourself for your body. Then it will be, you will enjoy fasting. You'll get the benefit of fasting, benefit of intermittent fasting, but definitely you will do. So all these 3 things will help you in getting your food better. The next slide. So next slide will tell us about how much time does it take. So when you do, it will tell us how much time will it take to change to do one from another one. So if like depending upon how we are eating, it will take approximately 8 to 12 weeks to get used to it and get the result out of it. So next slide, please. So yeah, so we have, this is what is a human basic human eating plan, is said. Our indigenous people, when they were not eating so many things. They were not eating. So this is like a basic human eating plan. And what will happen? Hormonal shift will happen. Hormonal shift will happen. So doctors, Canadians, anywhere, say they are looking at the weight. How much weight is increased? How much weight is decreased? Their chashma, their goggles, or the lens is blood sugar. If your blood sugar will increase, if you do this, your blood sugar will decrease if you do this. So all diet plan, meal plan is made what you can do to reduce blood sugar. But this is the small fishes. This is not the, if we catch the big fish, it will take care of the small fish also. So while the whole program looks, the hormone shift program is, we are looking after insulin hormone shift program. And when we go for on hormone shift, total everything, our environment changes. The next slide, please. Next couple of slides are very important. So we are going from metabolic nutrition to what is metabolic nutrition. That is also a very important part now. So metabolism means how body uses energy. Now each cell has got mitochondria is one part of the subcell part, and that is like a furnace in the body. So when so this furnace has to burn some fuel in order to get the energy. So we have 2 fuels to burn. One is glucose, sugar in the form of glucose. Other is fat, right, in the form of ketone. But problem is when the insulin is present, or when the glucose burning is going on, insulin will lock the doors of fat. So our fat will not go out unless insulin amount gets reduced. And so that's the problem, that once we are getting used, our body is getting used to only sugar burning or carbohydrate burning. It has not experienced what is the thing is food burning is. The next slide will tell us what is the difference between the two. So let us see like why we are objecting to glucose, the glucose metabolism or sugar burning. It is like a fireplace with a log of wood kept there. Log of wood, when we are burning it, it generates a lot of smoke. It relieves a lot of soot, and it smells also. Similarly, when sugar is burning, when glucose is getting converted into cell, it is not a clean process. A lot of smoke is generated in terms of inflammation. And over a period of time, if a lot of sugar is burning and we are only dependent upon the glucose metabolism, what will happen? Our cells will also not 100% efficient, because this inflammatory things will carry forward because of this smoke, inflammation, and that inflammation will go and create arthritis problem. It will give diabetes problem. It will give cholesterol problem, all the things. As compared to this, if we can burn fat burning is like a propane gas. when in our kitchen, when we are burning, we are lighting the stove, it is very clean. There is no, you don't see any smell, you don't see any smoke, and there is no shoot remaining. So fat burning is like that kind of burning. When 1 gram of carbohydrate, sugar or glucose burns only 4 calories you get. While so you are losing only 4 calories. When 1 gram of fat is burning, then you will get 9 calories lost. So that also you can lose also more that way. So, but that doesn't happen. So you have to slow down your insulin one. Insulin, when the level of insulin slows down, this will help us. So cause of increase in inflammatory cells in the body is this one. So next slide is this. We are almost coming to the end of it. So what happens is that some people ask how long will it take? So it can take us 12 weeks. It can tell us most of the time it takes us 12 weeks to complete things. Then we want to become fat burner. So because it is efficient, then storage gets unlocked, as I said, and as we decrease the consumption of carbohydrate, the fat supply, alternative supply starts, and it takes around 8 to 12 weeks to shift that. We have to be patient to continue to have that shift. Once the hormonal shift changes, then you can see the bigger picture and the improvement start immediately. So 8 to 12 weeks. Next slide, please. So now this hormonal shift, what happens when this hormonal shift happens? The insulin levels goes down, or stress level goes down, our hunger craving hormone that goes down, and the chill down, all entire thing we feel good. But it takes around, next slide please, it takes 9 to 12 weeks. So we are shifting from metabolic abnormality to metabolic flexibility through metabolic nutrition. So we are going to have high fat, moderate protein, and low carbohydrate. That way, if we can go, then we can have, this is what is also called paleo diet or keto diet, but this really shifts our hormone. It makes you work. Next slide, please. Next, and it works very nicely. So 12 weeks is the general time that it takes to get a measurable result. Do not get freak out if you do not, your weight doesn't change the scale. The first that has to go, that will go not from the scale. So how long does it take? Next slide, please. How long is it required? Some people ask that how much should I lose? How much fat should I lose in order to do this? Because I'm 100 pound, I'm 200 pound weights. So the answer is that you need to lose only 1 gram of fat in order to get, because 1 gram of fat makes you diabetic, or pre-diabetic to diabetic, and to diabetic, and that why, and you have to lose that 1 gram of fat in order to do this. So 1 gram of fat is the culprit. How it is? How 1 gram could affect the 400 gram per 400 kilo person, 200 kilo person? Because 1 gram of fat is stuck in the pancreas, that, or 4 or 5 grams is stuck into in the liver. When our body has when we are loaded with fat, our body, we can say our adipose tissue, we always say that, oh, my body is here, it is more here. That's what we are pinning out. But then that is not hurting us. But that 1 gram fat is gone into a small pancreas, and that stops the pancreas from working. That is bothering us. When that 1 gram of fat from pancreas gets reduced, pancreas will start working all right, and insulin will start working all right, and all our insulin functioning will be this, and that will, then entire scenario will change, and entire thing will change. So this 1 gram is very important. We need to get rid of 1 gram. So this is what it is. And then it brings also fatty liver. Also, we say we have fatty liver. It doesn't, lot of fat is there, but it is not because of fat, because of too much carbohydrate, lot of triglyceride we are having. Then when we are doing the proper diet plan along with exercise, it takes care of this plan also. So before we go to the next one, I'll just narrate you some case studies about the diet, and then we'll go to the sorry, case studies will go to near. Let's complete this. So only diet will work or not? Only, as I said, only diet doesn't work, because we have to energy. We have to really have Exercise also very important. This one, only diet doesn't work. Now, our Canadian health guideline, it always says that you have to have at least 25 minutes of or 30 minutes of workout every day for 5 days a week. But when we go to intermittent fasting, it is not 20, it is 45 minutes. And I'll tell you why. Because 45 minutes, first 15 minutes goes in just getting to the warm-up session. Next 15 minutes will take out the sugar from the blood and glycogen will convert into glucose and give the energy. But the third slot of 45 minutes will really help you taking out fat from your bellies, and that will help you. So you have to have at least 5 to 6 days, and you can do 4.5 kilometers in 45 minutes. Muscle standing exercise also you can do. Exercise with flexibility also exercise you can do. And all this above you have to do at least 4 to 5 times a week. Now, why you have to do muscle strengthening different and the cardio exercise different? You can combine both the things together, and there is only one exercise. Next slide, please. Only one exercise that will help you is yeah. This is all I discussed. So next slide, please. So we have to running. What are the exercises? Running, jogging, biking, brisk walking, and sun salutation. So all running, jogging, bike, that will give us cardiovascular exercises. Along at the same time, it will lose calories, it will lose fat. Advantage of Surya Namaskar is many more than this one. As you have been also doing yoga, and Kunal Bhai and Chitra also will show you, or must have shown you the sun salutation. This part is very, very important. We take it very lightly. We do 4 or 5 sun salutation to help us. But this sun salutation really, really helps us because it gives us the weight bearing exercise. You don't have to do separate muscle strengthening exercise because you are taking your own weight. You have to bear each time when you are doing sun salutation. Each time when you are bending forward, your stomach, your pancreas will squeeze, take out the insulin. Your liver will squeeze, take out the excess fat from this one. That's very important. It gives cardiovascular exercise. More important, it's giving you flexibility exercise. You do the backward bending, you do the backward bending, first bending, your abdomen flexes and your abdomen also presses, and all this gives very, very good digestive exercise to the digestive organs, to the pancreas, to the liver, to the abdominal muscles. So it really helps a lot. So this you have to do at least 5 times to 6 times a week, and try to do. Suppose you are not able to do sun salutation, all right. Maybe do 10 minutes sun salutation at a stage, or 5 minutes. Take some walk again do 4 or 5 sun salutation. You do sun salutation for some minutes. Other times you can do for your cardiovascular. That way, until such time that your sun salutation is good enough, and you don't have to do for any walking or jogging. That means 40-45 minutes of sun salutation. If you do every day, you'll not have any kind of problem. But it takes time. So you have to find out your body and find out how to start, when to start. If I am too much obese, if I am too much overweight, then maybe I will not be able to do everything all right. So both aerobic and resistant exercise work, and regular physical activity also will work. And this will really bring the fitness to the level. 39 to 70% of mortality also will get reduced if we can do it. Next slide, please. So what will happen with all, basically sun salutation and jogging and your fast walking and diet control? The quality of insulin sensitivity will increase. Blood sugar control will increase. Okay? Development of pain in the extremities will go down. Nerve pain, knee pain will always go down. Peripheral neuropathy. Amount of medication required will be either reduced, or sometimes it is getting eliminated also. So all this will happen when you do physical exercise. The next one. Now, so we always give advice to the people that if you are really overweight and obese, or you are not able to function, start slowly. First, go to the doctor and say whether you will be eligible to do some kind of walk. Do 1 or 3 steps you walk and then sit down. Then next day you do 4 steps and sit down. Then, and after 2 days you do from bedroom to kitchen, you go and sit down there. Kitchen to bedroom, come back and sit down. right? Then you come to kitchen and bedroom, to and fro, and do sit down. Slowly, progressively increase this, and then you will be able to do for 5 minutes at a stretch, then 10 minutes at a stretch. Sit down, take enough break, but slowly and silently. We want to get this thing moving, otherwise we will not be able to work. So this definitely help us and into order to doing this. Next slide, please. And this is all about aerobic. We are all yogis. We are all doing yoga. So we want to find out how best this will help in our regular thing. So let us see. Yoga, as you know, I will not go into this one, but it is the best exercise to manage diabetes, right? It connects your mind and body. It makes distress your body. Like posture also, it gives breathing exercise and meditation, both calms us down. Next slide, please. It calms us down. It calms us down so that our happy hormone, it really gives rise to parasympathetic mode. Our body is coming, so it calms us down. That what happens? The sympathetic hormone, cholesterol, corticoids that in the body, cortisols, they are all going down, and happy hormones are coming up. So mind and body has to do lots. Mind has to do lot with our body function. So when through breath control, through yoga exercise, it will distress our body. That's what it says, and promote our relaxation. Feeling of goodness will increase. Next slide, please. And then benefit of yoga posture, as we always says, it will balances, it will increase functioning of our endocrine gland, and it will tone us abdominal muscles, pancreas. We have enough discuss about this one. So we'll go to next slide. And this one is regular practice of yoga postures, relaxed manner, without exertion of and with meditation and breathing techniques will help control triggers of diabetes. This is very, very important. The next one, and along with sunshine. And then if we see our breathing exercises, because we have been doing breathing exercise, see if you are doing deep breathing, Chitra must have told you about deep breathing and bending posture a lot, because she's very nicely telling this. Whenever she talks about pranakashan kriya and deep breathing, she tells us what's happening, how parasympathetic hormone and what kind of secretion is how. So I'm not going to go into detail. That will help you. Kapalbhati, when we are doing simple Kapalbhati in and out, really it like gives a rhythm to our body. Also moves in a rhythm with the breath, and that really helps us. Ujjayi, frictional breathing, that's right also. And then over the period of time, we are going to do Basra Ujjayi. You are going to do side Kapalbhati also. And this also twisting and turning and bending helps us a lot in doing this. Omkar, when we do Shata Chakra and Omkar, our blood pressure goes down, our mind goes down. These are all really very important factors in reducing. Not one thing will work. Entire diet thing, entire exercise thing, not only yoga, asanas, but the Shuddhi Kriyas, the bending, the meditational posture, together it will work. Agnisar and Dhyan, I don't have time to show you Agnisar Udyan. One day I'll show you. But how Agnisar Udyan helps in diabetes, in controlling our middle portion. That also, all these things are very, very important. And alternative nostril pranayam, pranakarshan kriya, very, very important. Chitra and Kunal would have done that one. They will do more in this. That these are the small things, but that helps, goes a long way in doing the kriya. So this completes the slides. Over a period of time, it becomes difficult, diabetes control. But with all these tools that we have learned, we will make it all right. The next one, please. And now, this one, the next slide. These are the slides that I have taken. I'm just narrating my resources, as I told you, from Shrikant Jiskar and then Dr. Jagannath Dixit. The second part I have taken from Dr. Don Klum, chiropractor and metabolic nutrition specialist. And I also taken some part from Kate Shanahan, the doctor. And both of them, they had a nice series of lectures in the real skinny fat that came out in 2016, 2017. So these are the sources. Now, before I close, I'll just give you two case studies. Will not give you more because I want to spend time with you also. And these case studies are, one case study is like here, where in the person who I'm talking, Kunal Bhai, you know him. And he 20 years ago, at the around the time when he joined yoga, he was prone to going towards pre-diabetic range, and the doctor said that if you will not control, maybe you will have to take medication or something, line up medication for him. But at the same time, he started joining Ambeka Yokutir class. We are fortunate to have people like Chitra and Kunal also to have with us. So at that time he was having this, but then he took up upon him. He got retired, so half of the stress went over, and then took up upon him. He did the proper meditational thing, control, diet control, and until this 20 years, he did not increase his range. His range would be like a before pre-diabetic range, but he has never crossed that limit because of the diet control that he is doing, the exercises that he is doing, the meditation part that he is doing. That is one case right over there. The one case study that I will tell you is one of Don Klum. The part he had one patient who had a liver 2.5 times bigger liver than what she had. And what happens then? When she came to Dr. Klum's house, Klum's clinic, he said, "I cannot take you. You go to clinic. You have to go to emergency." She said, "I have done all this. I do not want anything more. I'm doing, and you have to do whatever you have to do." So then they started the program with her. She has gone on this diet plan, exercise part. Continuously she did. 1 month, nothing happened. 2 months, nothing happened. 3 months, nothing happened. After 5.5 months, so much patience, because she was doing, she got ultimately result, like Eureka. She lost 25 pounds after 5.5 months. And the following month, she lost another 30 pounds. Why? Because that 1 gram of liver that was stuck in pancreas, that fat that was stuck in the liver, that all went, and then her liver, fatty liver, big fur, that came to normal. She was considered normal. So it takes up to 5 to 6 months to do this. So patience always helps. So all this will help you. I do not want to go into more studies because we are almost losing time. So over to Kunal Bhai and Chitra.
Thank you, Suresh ji. I just wanted to thank you on behalf of PCHS and our yoga group and also would like to thank Chitra ji and Kunal ji for taking this on and supporting all our seniors for such a long time. And I'm glad to tell you that they're seeing a lot of benefits from the yoga sessions that we are doing. So I would like to really thank you, Suresh ji, again, and would like to invite you again to come and talk to our seniors and give them tips, because if we keep repeating, then we'll always remember. Otherwise, we tend to forget, right? So thank you again. And
You take any questions?
Okay, namaskar. Yeah, I will do the question answer sessions now. I will let everybody unmute themselves.
Thank you.
Okay, one by one, please. Thank you. You can all unmute yourself.
Suresh bhai, I have one question. Can you explain A1C for those who don't understand what A1C is?
Yes, very good question. Very good question. When we see HbA1c, HbA1c is like, suppose tomorrow you are going to go to the doctor, and doctor has to test your blood, and you know that tomorrow you have to go to the doctor. Your blood sugar should be all right. So in the evening you will not eat anything so that your sugar is all right, and you can cheat that way, and maybe your morning sugar temporary is all right. But that is not the actually representative of the blood sugar. So 3 monthly sugar, when you take, when that sugar is taken, it says what is your because some of this glucose is bound to hemoglobin, and that hemoglobin, that glycated hemoglobin, will show that what is your average glucose sugar in these 3 months. So that sugar will give you, this is representative of what you had last 3 months. So you cannot cheat, and that will give the idea of how your sugar is keeping over a period of time. And when you do your sugar in the morning, morning sugar is not representative of the HbA1c. Your afternoon sugar and your sugar profile over the period of the day, that makes that really makes up your HbA1c. So normal HbA1c, there are three ranges here. Like if it is more than 6.5, then it is a diabetic range. Up to 6.5 and more. 6.1 to 6.4 is pre-diabetic range. And then sometimes it's 5.8 to 6 also is a like tending towards pre-diabetic. So same up to 5.6, 5.7 is all right, but 5.8, 5.96 is like tending to do that. So some country also consider that as a pre-diabetic stage. After 6.5 it is going to the diabetic stage.
I have a question, Suresh Bhai.
Yeah.
I have a question, Suresh Bhai. You said that the oils that you said, corn oil, canola, and vegetable oils are bad. I just wanted to know what is the best oil that we can use now. Chitra and Kunal and they use avocado oil all the time, and coconut oil is considered good. So, can we use those oils? Is there an alternative? Vegetable oil, I know, is bad.
Yeah, vegetable oil, actually, we don't want to discuss more about that part, but vegetable oil is not good. Corn oil also not good. Canola oil also, I said it is not good. But if you want to have cold preparation, like in a green salad, if you want to add, you get olive oil.
Yeah, I do that.
In a prepared food when you are in the plate, you can always use olive oil. For cooking, avocado oil is considered best because at 200 degrees centigrade also it is not oxidized.
Mm-hmm.
So avocado oil is the next best. The moment we have learned these oils are good, we just took our whatever canola oil we had and we had donated to the temple, and we went for these two oils. Then another one is coconut oil. Coconut oil, definitely it is very good. Now, sorry, coconut. I'm sorry, it was coconut oil. Another is peanut oil. Initially, peanut oil's qualities was very good. If you find somewhere where peanut oil is not refined, not processed, and there is a smell of peanut oil that we used to get before, and it is very good. But otherwise, peanut oil doesn't have that. Peanut oil doesn't have that polyunsaturated fatty acid. So those oils which doesn't have polyunsaturated fatty acid, they are good. So you can also get peanut oil. You can consider some of these oils would be good.
Yeah, and I see that on many cooking shows now, they are talking about using ghee in cooking. Even in Costco, I see people buying big jars of ghee there.
Ghee is wonderful thing. Somehow, because of some misunderstanding, we were not using ghee. In 70s, they started using dalda ghee or refined vegetable oil instead of ghee, and that created a lot of problem. But regular ghee is very, very good. It's like a amrit.
Fellow keeps on me.
If we can put in our khichdi or rice some ghee, that really is very good. So 1 tablespoon of ghee in each meal, if we can eat, there is no problem. We can always use this.
How about sesame seed oil?
Sesame seed oil, it is supposed to be good. There's not much bad, but it is supposed to be good because it absorbs all the energy from the solar thing. But we do not know when it is processed how much energy is left out. Because processing, they are really putting lots of harsh chemicals, and then we do not know how much is the residual chemical left in this one. That's the reason I'm not able to tell you about that one.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question about the ghee while cooking. You said you can use ghee to add to the food, but for cooking, I was under the impression that the ghee would burn faster, and it's not advisable to use ghee for cooking.
We have never used ghee for cooking. We have always added ghee after it is.
Add it afterwards, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it is beneficial only if you add. Not
Yeah,
if
it
you
is.
cook.
Yeah, yeah. Because like if you are frying things in ghee, then ghee quality will change again.
Yeah. And how about coconut oil for cooking?
Yeah, yeah.
For cooking is okay. Coconut.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about sunflower oil for cooking?
No,
Get in.
that's not all right.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question. My name is Shobha, and I was listening to all you were saying, and I have read on it a lot. The only place I couldn't find an answer to my question is I have a lot of medication to take, and that question is, how do I reduce eating or go on intermittent fasting if I have to take something to eat with every medication? I have to take cholesterol, BP, diabetes, all these medications, and they are spread out through the day. So how do I avoid eating and yet follow the medication? Thank you.
No, depending upon which medication you are taking. If you are taking medication twice a day, you can take during your 2 meals time.
It's 3 times a day I have to take.
Okay. Which one is 3 times a day? Metformin.
Okay, the first in the morning is the blood pressure. In the afternoon, I have to take the diabetes, and in the evening, I have to take diabetes, cholesterol together. I mean, I can separate that, but when do I take? If I have to take 4 or 5 times a day, and this is how I end up eating more, because I have to kind of take the medication and top it with food instead of getting acidity or something.
So here is a thing. Your cholesterol medication, normally doctor prescribe 2 cholesterol medication, two range. One is either rosuvastatin or Crestor.
I'm taking that, yeah.
Yeah, so that you can take any time of the day. You don't have to take it night time.
Okay.
Right. Now, blood pressure medication you are taking during twice a day?
Once in the morning.
Only once in the morning. That you can take with your first meal.
Okay.
Now, diabetes medication you are taking 3 times a day?
Yes.
Which one you are taking 3 times a day?
Genumet, Diamicron.
So Genumet will be 2 times a day.
Yes, but I have to take Diamicron, and if I combine it, it doesn't agree with my system. I feel nausea and stuff like that.
So what you can take, you can take this is what you can do. You can take Diamicron before you are eating. So the 55 minutes slot, first you take Diamicron,
yeah,
then eat your food, and at the end of eating, before 55 minutes completes, you take Genumet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that will help you that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? You have question. Always feel free to call me or talk to me.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Suresh.
Appreciate it.
Hi, Suresh. I just had a question. Is mustard oil okay?
Which one?
Mustard oil.
Some people ask me that also. Now, mustard oil, again, the same thing in making of mustard oil, because it is mustard oil, basically it is coming from India, and Indian mustard oil we are using. So how much rigorous they are putting it. If with mustard oil, you don't get the knee pain or anything, then maybe you are doing, maybe it be, because it gives a lot of energy. I know in Punjab, in North America, North India, a lot of people using mustard oil.
Yes.
So I do not have much information about it, but only thing is that it would be stable, but I don't know how much of the chemicals it requires to extract that oil, and how much is remaining. It's question of going to, maybe I'll have to look into it and find out how and then I will be able to answer that question.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
Hi, Suresh.
Mhm.
Hi.
How bad or good is monk sugar if one has to take sugar?
How much?
If one has to consume sugar, how bad or good is monk sugar?
Malt sugar.
Monk. You know, sugar which is made of the monk fruit.
Oh,
Monk
Fruit?
monk sugar.
Monk fruit. Fruit. It is a fruit.
Okay. Oh, right.
It's
Now
fructose
when you say you have to take sugar,
if one has to take sugar.
But
In the tea, for example, if I have to consume at least 1 or 2 teaspoons of sugar, and instead of taking regular sugar, somebody said the monk sugar is better because it is made up, it comes out from the
but
fruit.
now how you have to take sugar every day? But
And
you
the
are
tea- the
getting
tea.
sugar. You are getting sugar and carbohydrate through so many other stuff. So you don't have to per se take sugar, because whatever even if you are eating pulse or I do not know what you are eating, but if you are eating proteins, it has got sugar in it. So there are so many sugars, bound sugar in it. So if that carbohydrate is enough for you, then you don't have to specifically take 1 spoon of sugar for that.
No, because I cannot take tea without the sugar. I have tried many times. I just cannot drink tea. And I must have tea in the morning. I can avoid the evening tea, but morning tea I cannot.
Right.
So,
right.
and I do
Can
not
we,
like to put honey.
sorry to be interrupting. Can we use stevia rather than monks? Is asking. Stevia comes from vegetable plant, I think.
Cereals?
Stevia.
Stevia.
Yeah.
Stevia.
But
Yeah.
I heard that there are a lot of side
Do
effects of that.
not take any of the artificial sweeteners.
Okay.
Right.
Now, in that case, you can take whatever sugar you are taking. Just take to that much extent. Do not take anything more into that.
Okay, thank you.
You can add sugar as much as so that you don't get the bitterness. But I'll tell you, if you are drinking sugar, do you add milk into your sugar?
In your tea.
In your tea?
I cannot drink without sugar the tea.
Okay. No, but so you take enough sugar there for the time being. You can just add that one and go ahead with that. Doesn't matter because you are controlling other sugar. So let us leave it there.
Okay.
May I answer something about monk sugar?
Yes.
I have some
Yeah.
monk sugar here.
Yeah.
The only thing good about monk sugar is that it has 0 calories, but otherwise it's as sweet as other sugar.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Thank you, Chitra.
okay.
Oh, one thing, how about coconut sugar? Some people say coconut sugar is good. Is that okay?
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same as monk.
I don't take sugar in tea or coffee, but okay. I was just wondering.
It takes 1 week actually. If you want to go without sugar, your tea, I found out 7 to 8 days, and you add more milk. You go for whole milk. You add whole milk and so put some table cream into that one, and then take that much tea. Slowly, you will be able to go without sugar. And proportionately, if you want to reduce, but 1 week or 2 weeks will be enough to get rid of sugar. But if you can't do it, then do whatever.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question. Can I ask?
Yes.
Go ahead.
You were saying about avoiding wheat, which is fine, but you said instead we can use the black bean flour or more?
Yes. There are so many black, not black grams flour. I said black gram flour.
Like
Yeah.
urad.
Black gram form, it is available. It's very good for as a flour. The flour, it will help you. You can use black gram flour. You can use green moong dal flour.
Dal flour. But
And you can use quinoa flour.
quinoa, okay.
And so gradually, if you want to get reduced, eat like 3/4 portion of wheat and 1/4 portion you can put any of this, and then couple of days you can use from 3/4 to one half and use half of this, and slowly over a period of time you'll get used to one without wheat.
Without wheat. And millet. I use quite a bit of millet. Millet.
Jawar.
Jawar,
And
But
yeah, try to reduce less of the grains.
Wheat. Oh.
Less of the grains. So these are not grains. The one I'm telling you, quinoa is not a grain.
Oh.
Dal, wheat flour, none of them are grains. So that will definitely help you.
So millet is a grain?
Millet is a
Millet is a grain?
yeah.
Millet is a grain, yes.
Millet is a grain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jawar is also a grain.
Yeah, bajra, jowar, they are all grains.
So black gram and mung. You mentioned sattu also.
Sattu is black gram. It is a roasted black gram flour.
Oh, sattu is black gram. Okay. Okay. So you're basically saying different dal flour, whole dal flour.
Yeah.
To replace
And you will not believe it, when you make chapati out of it, you forget that you have to have wheat, It just looks same sweetness wise, and you will not even feel that you are not eating wheat. For like 2 to 3 years we are not eating any wheat at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was using millet instead of wheat, but now I will drop millet also. I haven't used wheat, but I was using millet.
What about brown rice or regular rice?
So brown rice is eventually going to get converted into carbohydrate. Only thing is that it will go slow process. Regular rice also will be slow process. Like brown rice, some fiber is coated with that, so it's going to take time. Finally, the glucose concentration will be little less, but not something like that.
But is it better to completely avoid both?
If you can avoid it, that's fine. But if you don't want to avoid it, then go to brown rice. That's also fine. If you are not diabetic, you can always take some part of it, no problem. Even if you are, after a while, if you are controlling your diabetes, you can still take some rice if you want, or brown rice. But it will be in that 55-minute slot you are going to take, so you will not feel as much.
Thank you.
Suresh Bhai.
Yeah.
Somebody recommended red rice, so I got it. That's uncooked parboiled, but it's a red rice. And somebody said there's a lot of arsenic in that. Now, is that a fact that because
lots of arsenic is not good, because arsenic is a poisonous substance.
Okay, so it's better to chuck all that rice away.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, of course, yes.
Does red rice have arsenic?
See, if it is parboiled, I think arsenic goes away. That is why they boil it. Paddy is boiled, husked, and then they make it into rice. That is the process that our people have followed to remove the arsenic.
Yeah.
So, whether if it was parboiled, if it was, if they have removed the husk completely, then maybe you don't have arsenic in that.
But no, but the red rice, like the parboiled red rice, which is not, I don't know, it's half refined maybe, but there's redness in it. That I was told was arsenic. So maybe that should be chucked, and just parboiled rice would be good.
In that case, you can take 1 or 2 tablespoonfuls of rice. That will be healthy for you.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Suresh ji, there is a question on the chat regarding intermittent fasting. How can this be done for a Parkinson's patient who has to take medicine 4 times a day at 4-hour intervals, 20 minutes before eating? So,
yeah, it's going to be challenged there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So only pharmacists can tell that 4 times a day can it be made 3 times a day.
Okay.
And whether you have to eat food with that or you don't have to eat food with that way. So if it is just the medication, and if it can be taken without food, then you take that much medication. Then sometimes some tablets do have, capsule doesn't matter. Some tablets are made up of corn starch. So that corn starch is the starch after all. So that's what both us. But now it is like a minute of corn starch, and how much that corn starch will affect It's a matter of question. So then you can take the medication, but not the food, and see how it works.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope the person who asked the question, they got the answer. If you have any clarifications, let me know. Thank you.
Yeah.
So would you say that our meal should basically consist of greens, vegetables, and protein of any kind? Because you are not in favor of rice and you're not in favor of wheat. So what are the things that we should consider?
There is a lot of lentils, lentils,
Dals.
Yeah.
Dals, various dals. My God, there are plenty of them. Every day, my wife makes one dal. And it never repeats, it never gets repeated in a week.
Yeah.
And somehow, then you generate liking for dal. If you have liking for dal, you can make different kind of dal with spices. You don't have to go neutral, bland.
Yeah.
We Indians do not like bland food at all. Put some spices and make it like sprouted mung, sprouted beans, sprouted chana, very good. And then that is what is called? Black eye beans, red beans. So that will give you enough of carbohydrate without killing you, Not killing you, but in the sense, but yeah.
Is quinoa okay to have with instead of rice?
Yeah, you can have quinoa. It does have carbohydrate, but so you cannot go quinoa you cannot go overboard. Yeah.
Suresh, I had a question.
Pardon?
What about ragi? How is ragi good?
Ragi is a grain. Yeah.
It's good.
It's a grain, so we try to reduce grains.
Okay. Thank you.
Is it quinoa?
Suresh ji, I have been reading Dr. Khader's information, and he believes in 5 different Shri Dhanyas. He calls it Shri Dhanyas, and that has 5 different types of millets. And he says that you repeat them over a period of time. And even though there are dhanya, but it releases insulin into your blood over a period of time. So you do not feel hungry for a longest period of time, and you can have your intermittent fasting by using Shri Dhanyas. And this is Dr. Khader Wali. And he has lots and lots of stuff on Google if anyone wants to Google it. And I have been using that now. Not that I have diabetes, but I'm just a nutrition crazy.
So, if it works for you, go for it.
And he also says ragi and quinoa, they are neutral dhanyas, whereas foxtail or kodo and, little millet, and and 2 more millets, barnyard millet and 1 more millet. I don't remember top of my head, but those 5 millets are positive millets, and they have really good they do good on your body. And do not mix them. Use them like 2 millet a day, and keep repeating them. And you can make idli, dosas, khichdi, chapatis, rotis, pulkas, whatever with those. And I'm trying it different variations.
You can go for it. Yeah, that's what it is. If it works for you, it's good. Then go for it. As long as there's no wheat, everything is good.
Yep.
Wheat belly we don't want.
Exactly. Thank you.
Suresh, this is a little specific question. The black gram or green mung dal, are they okay for kidney issues?
Okay for?
If you have any kidney issues.
Kidneys.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you are not going overboard with protein, they are okay. We do not have enough, we don't take enough protein actually. So for example, if you have to have like 8.5 gram per kilo weight of protein. That's what they say. But if supposing I'm going on, I'm not eating anything and I'm on gram only on kidney, that will bother me. And if I have got a weak kidney, then definitely I have to control my protein consumption. So it depends upon how your kidney is right now.
Okay.
But we are not, it is not like if you every day if you eat meat without anything else, then your protein content will be so high. And then that will affect the kidney.
Okay. Okay. Just a general question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's almost 12 o'clock. So, Suresh bhai, you don't mind if I share your email address so that they can send you questions?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I will send it to Mahesh and Mahesh will share it with all of you. I have written it in answer to one of the questions on the side, but if you don't get to look at it, I'll just tell you and I will ask Mahesh to send it on. It's Suresh Shukla 2000 at yahoo.ca. But I will send it to Mahesh and he will send it on to all of you. So maybe we want to end it there, and Mahesh has already thanked you, but let me thank you, Suresh bhai.
No, bro, it's my pleasure. I enjoy it.
Okay.
I got patience for this,
Yeah, and Mahesh probably wants to say something to just close up.
Yeah, no, again, wanted to stress that, generally they say that pet bhara, niyat nahi bhara. So if we can first think of niyat bharna, then all this food, whatever we eat, we can all eat in small portions. We don't have to worry so much. Right? So that's the most important thing, I think. And we all have to remember we are all different. So one thing that works for me might not work for you. That is how Deepak Chopra, from being a regular doctor, moved into naturopathy. He just thought, why is medicine A working on person A, but not working on person B, who has the same issue? One survives, one dies. So the most important thing he learned, he said, was the person A who survived was because of his mental ability, that he wanted to overcome this problem or illness. So the same way, if we want to get over our weight or we want to live healthy, we have to make up our mind. So it's body, mind, and soul that will take you to the next level. So a little bit of food, eat, enjoy, chew, right? And then do yoga, exercises, all in within limits, and you will be healthy. Okay, thank you so much. Namaskar to everybody, and have a great afternoon. Jai Shankar.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Thank you, Suresh.
Thank you.